All right, this is SFBarkast. I'm Jeff Cleary.
I am Andrew Louder.
And Andrew, where are we today?
We are at OddJob.
OddJob.
Was it mission between 9th and 10th?
Yes.
Or like there's two actually like alleyways. I forget what those are named, but it's like right between those. Can't miss it. Actually, you can miss it because like the entrance is actually on the side of the place, and then there's like a bar within a bar. You know what? Already out of the gate, I'm just like tired of explaining this place.
Andrew, I can't do it this week. I swear to God, I can't pretend to give a shit about what you're saying.
Well, I'm soldier on anyway.
See you next week.
That's right.
No, yeah, it's called OddJob, although I don't see any photos of an Asian James Bond villain in here.
Well, maybe that's
How about that?
Maybe that's like the joke or the hook is that they get you in here and then they have you wondering that, and then later on tonight, like a big giant Chinese guy will throw his knife at you and kill you.
That is a derby that has a blade on it.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, he was the first person to think of that. Like, oh, I bet if this were metal, I could throw it.
Don't stand up for them, Andrew. So, would you say that this bar, upon first glance, personifies or, embodies every kind of new San Francisco bar cliche?
I would say it's a very steampunk-ish
I'm
bar.
not saying it's bad. I'm saying because they do it pretty well here. But yeah, there's
I would agree with that,
reclaimed wood. There's a bunch of junk on the wall that they align it so it looks like it's an artifact.
It's like if you explained this place to somebody who'd never been in any kind of restaurant or was like lived in the rural South or something, you would be hard pressed to like they wouldn't know the difference between this and like a TGI Fridays. You'd be like, well, there's a whole lot of crazy crap on the walls and there's a theme to it.
And like I see a lot of bars do this where they this sort of like theme.
Yeah.
But I wonder who the first guy was who came up with this theme. Where he's like, you know what? I'm gonna take a bunch of worthless shit and arrange it so it looks nice.
Well, like for instance, the bar itself is one of those like sort of assembly line like package mover things where it's just like a big scissoring thing with wheels on top of it, and then they put glass on top of that. Yeah, and so that's kind of cool. And actually, the bar itself, or the back bar where all the booze is, it's kind of a cool, like almost unfinished garage, like 2x4s and like
they've actually done a good job with it.
Yeah, like it kind of it does sort of have a feeling of like being in your dad's garage or something like that. But
the assembly line bar looks really nice.
Yeah.
But it just seems it's one of those things where it's like I never would have thought of that. Like, if you're on a Tinder date and you're like, ooh, let's pretend like we work in a factory and you've had your spirit broken and I also have had my spirit broken and we're secretly in love but we'll never tell each other.
That's right. Let's pretend that we're crazy French factory workers that sip absinthe on the line.
Yeah, you know who would love this? The guy who directed the movie Amelie. He would just like not stop like talking about how great it is.
It's like, yeah, it looks like it. I mean, it's not sort of Wes Anderson-ish, but it's more I don't know, like
you said steampunk, and I think that's pretty accurate. Although I know you have your own prejudices against steampunk.
I don't necessarily have any prejudices against it. I think
you have a lot of prejudices.
The people that take it seriously, and of course I'm talking about Asian Americans. No, wait, no, that's not true. The people that take it seriously seem to take it really serious, and I guess that's true of just about any weird fetish or character flaw.
When I see people who get really into steampunk, I think the Luddites were right. Like those people in like old England that would destroy machinery because they thought it was going to take their jobs.
Right.
Well, I don't think it's going to take our jobs, but they had like this fierce like anti-technology or advancement, and I just want when I see like some steampunk guy on a rustic unicycle, I just want to smash it.
Yeah, there is a very and like especially the way it ties into the whole sort of artisan food and drink movement too, like where you have this sort of crisscross of like like that the bar that we did a few weeks ago, Devil's Acre.
Devil's Acre.
Like that place, like is sort of another, complete embodiment of that whole, of the whole sort of turn of the century Barbary Coast, like.
Yeah, this is a very different place than that, though. I mean, it's got kind of that was kind of seemed more like Boardwalk Empire sort of interior, right. And this is just like, some whacked out French guy on absinthe.
Yeah, you're right. No, it's but both I would consider.
What do you think about like some of the things they put together? It's all these old tools,
right? I mean, it could be like actual art. We don't know, but I mean,
yeah, sure.
It just looks like crazy crap they put together.
But don't you think it's kind of weird that like it's kind of an amusement now, like these old tools that people used to do manual labor with, and now like that whole thing is like, oh, isn't it crazy? There's like a sickle over here, or a drill, a hand drill, like we would ever use our fucking hands. We're all coders.
Yeah, exactly.
But this neighborhood has definitely changed.
You know what? What's funny is I was going to mention that because to get here, you go to like Civic Center, BART Station, or at least I did. Mm-hmm. And coming out of Civic Center, BART Station, there's one of my I would qualify it as the grossest thing in the city, I think, because if you come out of the
that's
BART,
saying a lot.
and it's and usually there's a pretty good wind, like whipping around like Civic Center, like it's kind of a windy area.
Yeah, air it out.
Like that. Yeah, and but if you come out of BART, like right on like Leavenworth there, as you're sort of walking through like UN Plaza, there's a big fountain, and there's a huge like misty fountain, and then there's probably like 50 homeless people.
Yeah.
And then like so you have two sensations like almost like back to back. You have this like mist of like water hit you from the fountain, and then the smell and you realize that it's mostly piss.
Oh.
And so you just got like piss misted by a fucking public fountain.
I would have loved to have seen like the artist that designed that fountain and him talking about.
Everyone's gonna love hanging around it.
Saying him like talking about how, like, oh yeah, this is supposed to represent what I was going for, and then someone just goes, yeah, it's a toilet now.
That's right. Yeah, congratulations, you took a homeless piss and made it airborne.
That area, I still would contend the worst block in the city is Mission between 16th and 17th.
Okay.
But over there, that's right up there. And the Mount Rushmore of shitty places in the city.
Yeah, really. Yeah, I would agree with both Mission between 16th and 17th.
As soon as you get out of that Civic Center BART, it smells like an old shoe threw up.
Right.
Which I believe is a Kazim Bentley joke.
It's like the first couple blocks, north of Market on like Mason and like actually a few of those streets there, like those are all pretty horrible. And wherever Drew Harmon lives, that's pretty bad.
Yeah, well, that kind of always changes because he's driving around.
Exactly.
My therapist's office is right over by there. And I told him once, I was like, man, this is a perfect location because...
Is it a legit therapist or is it just somebody that like hangs out in the park?
A massage therapist. No, but I was telling him that this is a perfect location for therapy at your office because even if you're feeling pretty good, you walk around that neighborhood and you're like, oh, everything sucks.
Well, either that or that has the opposite effect where you walk out and you're like, shit, I'm fine compared to the rest of these people.
Yeah, exactly. You go walk down there like thinking like, oh yeah, I've got so much to work on. Fuck no. I'm
like, can I bring guests? Like, can I bring people I run into along the way?
I just like bring someone in there and just be like, yes, okay, I have problems, but look at this.
Tell her what you were telling me. You're gonna love this.
I have one complaint about what's this place called? OddJob again?
OddJob. Yes.
Oddfellow.
Which is actually, I mean, there's a bar within a bar, I guess, called SRO. That's like when you walk in the side door, you can go right or left, and we went right into OddJob.
I hate those bars that you need like a password to get in.
Right. There's probably like a bar within that bar within a bar that's like just one seat.
Oh, I thought this was the toilet, and it's the entrance to another bar.
Right. And it is the toilet as well.
One of the things I already dislike about this bar, and is that like they have this reclaimed wood for the table,
Right.
and it's like very authentic reclaimed, like raw wood.
Yeah, imperfect.
But what do you get with raw wood? Like I sit down and I touch something, I get a splinter immediately.
Right. Well, yeah, there's a big like kind of like knot hole or whatever like that in the middle of the bar.
I mean,
table we're sitting at.
I give them credit for like basically like sticking to their guns and being like, we know this probably doesn't work as a fucking table because it's got like all these holes in it.
Right.
But they're like
They're like,
we have an
concept
idea.
over function. We don't care.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, yeah, so maybe there's holes in the table and people can't put their their $15 drink down and it spills all over into their lap.
It's like, are you
Who
sure?
cares? We have a philosophy.
It's like they don't even bother to put down a floor. It's just dirt. They're like, yeah, people are starting to build tunnels.
I wonder if you were an interior designer who was just like completely full of shit, which is also a way of saying you were an interior designer,
Right.
and you just kind of walked into like this old like warehouse and people are paying you like, oh, so what should we do to make this bar? And he's like, it's perfect just the way it is. Give me my 15 grand.
Right. It was like they just finished gutting it out, like all and walked in. They're like, oh, it's perfect. Love it.
I often thought about that with like kink.com. Like the Kink building was it was basically abandoned for years because it's like this huge building and like nobody used it, and once they tried to get some developers in there, so like, and the developers were like, we could build condos here, and like the whole neighborhood mobilized and said, fuck you take that shit back to LA.
Right.
And then kink.com came in, so it was like, so we make fetish films.
Right.
And so the community.
By the way,
the community's like, so you're an artist. And I'm sure when they were showing him like that dirty old like armory, like the
there had to. I mean, like that was vacant for what? For how long? Like 30 years? Like,
yeah, I mean, like at least
there had to
15
be some
years.
crazy shit that went. I mean, like before Kink.com moved in, there had to be like some just banana shit that must have happened in there.
I can only imagine when like the real estate agent was showing Kink around the place, and they were like, "Look, I know it's dirty, but like, but we'll clean it up." And they're like, "No, it's perfect, just the way it is.
We love it.
We're gonna have some of our actors come around and roll around in this shit, and we're gonna film it."
Oh, you've never seen Shit Rollers? It's our most popular program.
Oh, yeah, this neighborhood. You know what? This is like weird, but like when I came in here, I've actually been here before. I don't.
Oh, you didn't know though.
Yeah, I've totally. This is that like segment that we like to do called "Should Jeff Stop Drinking?" question mark. Because I came in here and I remember the interior. I don't remember anything about being here.
You're like, I don't remember paying. I do remember getting in a fight. I don't remember why. I don't remember like losing a finger, but I do remember sewing it back on.
Oh yeah, now it's starting to come back to me. Yeah, I think it was.
Geez, I'll start to like put stuff in my backpack just in case we have to run.
Yeah, exactly. I do remember at the end of the bar they have this little contraption. I don't know what the fuck it is. It looks like how. Looks like an
From
old
here it sort of looks like it almost looked like beer taps, but they're bottles.
Yeah, it looks like a distillery, like that distillery that Hawkeye Pierce had in MASH. But
okay. Oh,
if
I can
it
see the
was,
rest of it now. Yeah, it's more like sciencey beaker stuff, right?
Yeah, but it's all steampunky. It's got something going. It's definitely doing something. I don't know.
It's got like a digital watch attached to it.
And here's the thing. I remember the last time I was here fucking with it. And I think I was told not to touch it.
Somebody said something about blah, blah, you just ruined a $50,000 piece of artwork. Some horseshit. I can't remember. I was too busy fucking with this glass thing.
You know when you get like so drunk, you think it's funny when people tell you not to do things? You're like,
no, I've never experienced that.
This guy wants me to put this hand drill down.
Drop your weapon. That's awesome.
All right, you want to take a break?
You're under arrest. You're all under arrest.
We're all going to be under arrest. Let's all go back to my place and arrest each other.
What? Oh, hands off, copper. I'm spoken for.
Oh, shit. All right, you want to take a break?
Sure.
All right. Oh, also, I was going to say that this is the neighborhood that I think is officially the
Real talk.
now.
I was gonna bring that up. Yeah, like this is. I mean, post learning that term, I guess this is our first bar in that area.
I don't want to start using that.
Yeah,
term,
I know. Yeah,
But I will. I will if I have
maybe
to.
I'll bleep it out.
It's like I
And
saw.
then people wonder what people will be like. What the fuck did he say? Like,
I have I have my first friend of mine that has adopted the what do you call it? Like watch phones.
oh, the
things.
Apple phone. Yeah.
And I'm real seriously thinking about whether I should like call him again, or ever talk to him or hang out with him.
Or
I mean,
beat
like,
him to death with his phone.
hey, whatever. Like fast forward to like maybe a year from now, and I've got 2 of them on each arm.
Right.
Right. But like I think that's the type of thing that I won't adopt.
Yeah. Well. Yeah.
I don't wear a watch to begin with. Why,
yeah, that's
why
the
don't I
thing.
have a fucking phone on my wrist?
Right. Well. Yeah. I haven't worn a watch since phones were small enough to put in your pocket, because then that's your clock. And so like, I think this really appeals to people that get really tired like reaching in their pocket.
Isn't there there's a great line in Forgetting Sarah Marshall where Jason Segel is getting taught how to surf by Paul Rudd. And he's asking Paul Rudd, so how long have you lived in Hawaii? And he's like, yeah, man, let me just tell you, I moved here whenever. But like as soon as I got out here, I took off, I just threw my watch into the ocean. And he's like, oh, is that because you, it's because you no longer like, let
Need
time
to know
rule.
what time it is, yeah.
You don't let time like rule your life anymore. He's like, no, I have a clock on my phone. I don't need a fucking watch.
And that was the funny line.
And that
in
was the
Forgetting
one funny line, yeah.
Sarah Marshall.
So
After they say that line, just pick up your popcorn and get the fuck out of the theater.
can we make a promise not to get a phone watch? Or how about this?
Sure.
Every person we know who has a phone watch, we call him Dick Tracy.
Deal.
All right, this is SFBarkast. We are at OddJob on Mission Street. We are back. Andrew, I wanted to come back fast because they're playing your favorite artist, Brandon Flowers.
Brendan, or I think I may have referred to him last week as Brendan Flowers, but I hate both of them. Brandon.
You have enough hate for both those people.
BF.
One of
whatever
them.
you call him.
BF. Big fraud.
Big fucking fraud.
I do like this album. Like I saw
No, you know what? Like and that's what disheartened me, because I don't hate the Killers or anything like that, but like I just hated that it was getting press as a transcendent great album when I thought it kind of sucked.
I wouldn't say I am a real connoisseur of like song lyrics, but when I listen to the Killers, especially Hot Fuzz,
Right.
or Hot Fuss, they're really bad. The lyrics,
Yeah. Like,
and I know it's pop rock, so it's like whatever,
Right.
Not every Third Eye Blind song has to have like a deep meaning. But man, like some of the lines in like the Killer songs, it's like, and to his credit, he lands that plane sometimes. Like there's one song where he
Yeah.
says, "I got soul, but I'm not a soldier." It's like a fucking worst lyric ever, but he makes it work somehow.
yeah, like I can sort of see where maybe there's a part of him and them, whatever, that's going for that sort of simple, like Elton John crocodile rock, type lyrics, where it's like, it's so simple, it's universal, or whatever. But like a lot of it just winds up sounding like the lazy journal entries of a 12-year-old girl or something. It's just terrible.
I think like that is something that people learn along the way to like being like pop stars, where it's like, okay, don't worry, we'll just fucking throw it in. I'll make this work, even if it's like a square through a round hole. Like,
Right.
like Boy George was like that, where I feel like some of the things he sang about, I was just like, what the fuck is he talking about?
Is it true that that like Neil Peart writes all of Russia's lyrics?
Yeah, it's true, I guess.
That's crazy.
But his mind
like-
is not for rent to any god or government. Yet hopeful yet discontent. No change is not permanent.
Do you think he's like, when he's writing the lyrics, he writes in like, To any god or government. Dum, 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 dum.
And the song with the best lyrics was YYZ for Rush because there's no lyrics.
Exactly. All right, well, it's time to play a new game for this show, and maybe the first and only time this will be played, but it's called Guess the Prison Sentence.
Guess the prison sentence.
So we'll come up with a theme song for it later. But so this is where I'll describe a thing that happened, and I'll even give you the country where it happened in, and then you have to tell me if this guy served any time and for how long.
Okay, I have a question about the rules.
Yes, the person sitting on the other side of the table.
My question is, do I have to play?
Participation is mandatory. Next question.
Okay, now we can go ahead.
All right, fine. All right, so there was a bartender in rural France that basically, or he served
A lot of absinthe.
a customer. Well, he served a customer 56 shots of something.
Oof.
I don't know exactly what it was, but and that was and basically the bartender like egged him on the entire time so that he could beat the previous bar record of 55 shots. And
Records are made to be broken.
exactly. So like this bartender did that. Obviously, like the guy was pretty hammered when he staggered home, but he staggered home and promptly died of like alcohol poisoning and like cardiac arrest.
I would. Okay, so now.
So,
is that
so
the
now
whole
the question is, how much time did
I
the
would
bartender
like.
do?
I mean, and also, this isn't a real predictor, but it's like what I want to see happen. I would
Right.
say 0 days in jail. Because why is it the fucking like bartender's fault when the guy doesn't know when to stop?
There we go. Well, so okay, the actual sentence was 4 months suspended sentence, so basically no jail, and then for 1 year he was forbidden from being a bartender.
It's like some very creative French sentencing.
You know, it's going to be a great party though. Is like
Also,
a
yeah.
year and 1 day from now when that guy gets back behind the bar.
Also, you have to ride. Your license is suspended, and you have to ride this old-timey big bike.
That's right. It's like, well, you've been found guilty of manslaughter, and your punishment is that you can't be around knives for a year.
I mean, I don't know the real specifics of the case. I guess the guy was like, "Come on, don't be a pussy. Oh, don't be a le pussy." And drink.
If he had like a knife up to his mother's throat, it was like, yeah, fucking drink those shots.
Drink the Fernet.
Fernet. I think Fernet is Italian. It could have been. I
Is
mean, did you like shots of Beaujolais or wine?
I don't
Seems
know.
like it'd be a bad idea. But and one of my favorite small aspects of the story, I nearly forgot, was that supposedly the guy did the first 30 shots in the first minute.
That's insane.
Yeah.
That's totally insane.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. I mean, like,
We don't know what the shots were of.
no, that's the frustrating part of the story. So, like, but even if, I mean, like,
If it was like antifreeze.
63 shots of, like, beer, if it was, like, in under a couple hours, it would
Yeah.
be, like, a shitload.
Isn't that a thing where people try to drink 100?
Yes, I've done that, yes.
Have you done it?
I tried it, yeah. Like, I mean, this is years and years ago.
Okay, well,
this is last
so
week.
let's let people know what the fuck we're talking about.
So, like,
Then
yeah,
they can judge you.
Obviously read somewhere and read it on the internet, so it must be true. And it was like if you sit like in front of a clock or whatever like that, and like and bring like a 6-pack of beer at a time or whatever, and pour yourself a shot of beer like every 60 seconds. Within like
No, wait. So you're supposed to drink a shot.
45 minutes or so.
No, you're
like,
supposed to
pretty-
drink a
you're
shot
pretty hammered.
once every minute.
Yeah, and
A
you
shot of
just
beer.
And you just keep doing it, and so you're essentially drinking 1 beer every 6 minutes because because it's
Yeah.
like 6 ounces. Was it 6 ounces to a beer? No, wait.
12 ounces.
Oh no, but that works out because
That's
ounce
2
and a half
ounces.
is a shot.
Yeah.
So it's like 3. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, every.
You know what? That is one instance where I feel like the Apple wrist phone would come in handy. It's like you could set
You don't have to pull out your phone every 60 seconds.
you could set it to go off every minute, and you'd be
Right.
like, "Oh, I didn't."
Or you
need
could just get like a bakery timer that's like $2 at a thrift store.
What do you?
Like
Goddamn, look like a fucking caveman with a bakery timer. Just set your
Look at you like smoking your marijuana through a hollowed out can instead of a $500 like water pipe.
Set your wristwatch phone to go off every minute and just be like, oh, it's time to take a shot, and I'll be dead soon.
But
which is always a good thing.
But I will testify that like that it did. You did get pretty.
What did you get out of
fucked
it?
up pretty quick, but like I think like after a while you just kind of lose interest in like in drinking that, because like after the first 30-35 minutes or so, like you're full too. I mean, like you've had 35 ounces of liquid, in 35 minutes, which is a lot.
I just asked a question that nobody who enters into such a stupid endeavor asks. I go, what do you get out of it? It's like when somebody like is telling you about like some drinking game. You're like,
where were you 12 years ago?
What's the upside?
I'm sure there were plenty like of people and well wishers trying to stop me from doing that, but like, I was like, not in the name of science, I can't.
This side's tingling.
Exactly. This is science.
You
know what? Like, did we mention that? Because I think was it last week we were talking about the Letterman finale and everything.
Sure.
And we're saying that we couldn't find the anniversary specials, and we've since found a ton of them.
We found a bunch of them. I don't know. I think I was searching under like the Late Show.
Oh, okay.
Not Late Night with David Letterman. So I couldn't find them anywhere. But like now they're all out there. And somebody was saying on one of the podcasts I listened to that if you put together like the 100 best moments of David Letterman's career, maybe 98, 99 will all come from the NBC show.
Oh yeah,
and
totally.
Probably like in the first 8 years.
Yeah, and that's not taking anything away from like the last 20 years, because like there have been tons of like cool stuff that he's done like out on the street, and that one person like busted their fucking leg all up and doing like some jump, and like he has all kinds of fun stuff like that.
So let me ask you, how much time did David Letterman serve for his crimes?
0. It's really weird though seeing. Like I've seen like a few pictures recently of like they tore down the whole marquee in front of the theater, and
what are they gonna do? Turn it into a fucking swap meet?
I know, yeah. But yeah, it looks like an abandoned theater again, just sort of like what it was when they moved in. But
we're gonna make room for what's in James Corden.
Well, no, I guess. Well, I don't think Colbert will do it from that theater, will he?
Why wouldn't he work in that theater? It's like this old, beautiful theater right in the middle of New York.
Tear down the marquee and put like.
Colbert's like,
giant head on it.
I need my own theater. It's got to be brand new.
That's right. I want the Ed Sullivan Theater torn down and replaced with theater from wood from my backyard.
I want to go there and piss on Ed Sullivan's ashes. What? So do you have another? How much time did this person serve?
I don't.
It was only one.
There was only the one. I had no idea it would go so well.
Goddamn junkie
didn't even
dealer.
want to play.
You give me a free hit, and then you don't have another one for me?
Oh, I know. I'm a piss poor drug dealer. Speaking of drug deals.
Why? Did one walk in?
I may have alluded to this a couple weeks ago, and maybe last episode. But so just on for shits and giggles.
I can only imagine what you're going to say. For shits and giggles, I tried Flocka. And next thing I know, I'm running around naked in my neighborhood. Everybody's taking photos, and what a laugh I had.
It was the straight PCP. It was a lot of fun. You mix it with bath salts.
By the way, that's my new favorite, YouTube craze. It's like you put in some strange new drug and all these new crazy drugs, they all come from Florida. Yeah,
of course.
And then you just watch people who are just completely fucked out of their minds, running around. Flock is my new favorite one.
Well, no. So I went in Richmond, California, which is outside of Berkeley, or
in the beautiful shadows of that chemical plant.
Right, exactly. But anyway, along the shoreline there's Rosie the Riveter Museum and a big giant huge warehouse place, and they had this thing called Audio on the Bay that is done by the same people that do the Electric Daisy Carnival in
which I
Las
went
Vegas.
to.
Exactly.
So I'm going to withhold all of my judgments. Of you.
Please. But like, and so I sort of did this before asking my wife if she wanted to go, and like sort of forced it on her, and so. Like we definitely felt old and stupid being there. And it was
to see you.
Basically a giant EDM festival full of fucked up rave kids. But
I can just see you trying to convince your wife to go, and you're like hey, honey, where are those glow sticks? Are they in the garage? Because I think I remember putting them in the garage. What about the glow in that face paint that that glows in the black light? Where did we put that?
I mean, the thing is, it's like, I mean, like both of us still like the music, like, to some extent. Like, it's not like all we listen to or anything like that, but like, we both, at least, I remain sort of interested in it and everything like that. But
Sure.
Why I wanted to go was just to see, check in with what the kids are doing.
Yeah.
That something like that is where you would experience a lot less like anger or judgment based on you being there. Like, people are going to be pretty cool with it for the most part. Like,
yeah, you can do
because they're like, they're all into like sort of like lovey touchy passing around bracelets and all that shit.
Yeah. People are. I mean, like at the EDC, Electric
Right.
Daisy Carnival, everybody I met was like really nice.
Oh yeah, they're super
Yeah.
nice. Like we had like we had a few like kids come up to us and we're just like, they're like, there's like, oh, it's so great that you're here, like this is so awesome, but blah 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 and like that. And like,
Did they come over to you and be like, God, I hope I'm still doing this when I'm your age?
Totally.
That's
And
the
like,
worst.
Well, and like there was one guy that came up to us like, just pupils fucking like like saucers, and like just points at me and like starts laughing and goes, chaperones.
That
Like,
little
so he
motherfucker.
I know, like.
You should have killed him. You should have tore his fucking heart out in front of his friends. You're like, oh yeah, this is a great, really peaceful, lovey fest. Is that kid laughing at me? I'm gonna fucking murder him.
Well, and like, so we wound up like hanging out for a few hours, and like, and then like, actually took off before like, a couple of the acts that I wanted to see, but like, but it was still,
I'll be in the
fun.
car.
It's like, no, it wasn't like that at all. It was just like, we're both just like, you know what, like we've quote unquote experienced as much as we need to of this.
No, I commend you for like doing that. I mean, like I felt a little stupid going to the Electric Daisy Carnival, and then the drugs kicked in, and everything was fine. You're a culture vulture. I'm more of a doing a lot of drugs and dancing around vulture.
More of a culture pigeon.
You want to take a break?
Yeah, we can do that. Sure, why not?
Let's do that. Sure, why
Take
not?
a break. Like, we'll drop
come back.
some Molly and some mad fat beats. And
Something
and
tells
come
me
back.
they don't do a lot of Molly in here.
In this bar?
In this bar, yeah.
Oh, yeah, probably not.
You know what? I think that's a good like
You
category.
think like Twitter employees do a lot of Molly?
I think that we should do this from now on. The bars we're in,
Molly or not?
like what drug dominates this bar?
Oh, yeah,
You know,
yeah.
whether it's like a pot bar or like this looks like a Coke bar to
Yeah,
me.
it's like you know what,
Yeah.
like foreign Coke bar,
By the way,
like where it's like guys from Germany be like, hey, do you know where I can get some of the cocaine?
although you know what, like when you say this is like a San Francisco Coke bar, that's like just like saying this is a San Francisco bar.
Right. Say, oh, I bet there's some people in this bar that are high. Yeah, there's somebody in every bar that's high.
Yeah, it's open.
It's like mostly it's the bartenders.
Yeah, I would think this is a little bit more of like a Coke bar.
Yeah, maybe the
Maybe it's-
occasional bath salts thrown in.
Maybe the segment isn't as great as I thought it was. I
Oh
vow,
boy, this looked a lot better on paper.
I vow in the future to utilize discretion.
We really should have run this by some focus groups first.
All right, this is SFBarkast. We'll be back from OddJob. All right, and we are back at OddJob
Odd job.
in the
Real talk.
In the what was this neighborhood before? I guess Civic Center, right? Like
yeah, Civic Center,
yeah, UN
Yeah.
Plaza.
UN Plaza, the world's biggest toilet.
That's right. Right next to the piss mist fountain.
I can't tell if my hangover is wearing off
Right.
or if this bar is actually really warming up to me. It's kind of winning me over.
Yeah, you know what? Like as the sun goes down, and there are a lot of cool like sort of light fixtures in this place. Like the chandeliers that hang over the booths that we're in are like chandeliers filled with light bulbs.
You like it when the sun goes down because you belong to the city.
I do, Mr. Fry. Mr. Fry.
No, I think this like bar is kind of winning me over. I think sometimes you just have this irrational reaction to something or someone, and you don't know.
In the case of something like this, where it's like this place is designed there's a lot of design that's gone into this place. So like it does sort of hit you as like, oh, this place is like trying extremely hard.
Well, I wasn't finished.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Before I was so rudely
well, if you allow me
interrupted.
to finish your sentences, I can pretty much make you say whatever I like, can't I?
No, sometimes you have this irrational like reaction to something, and you don't really know
I don't know
why.
what that's like.
Like the tall bartender here, I just think is like the greatest dude in the world. Like I don't know, and I've had it's just his whole, maybe because like in my sort of like little hungover like state of mind.
Right, so he
like,
has the medicine, baby.
But he's also like he's got that perfect dry.
Right.
Attitude. Like I asked him, they have this like big contraption at the end of the bar, and I asked him like, so what's that thing? And he's like, oh, God, I don't know. It's like some fancy way to like pour drinks into a glass. And then he's like, yeah, it's he's like, some kid from Berkeley made it, if you can believe that.
It's like, well, you're the one that works here. Like,
Oh my God, I love it. Well, like that's exactly the type of attitude I need today. So that guy's winning me over. Don't know his name.
That's a great like sort of Gen X sort of way to be, is like someone who hey, look, just because I work here doesn't mean I support any of this bullshit.
Sometimes like you come to a bar like where like everybody's a mixologist and you're just like, oh God, fucking get over yourself. And this dude just has the perfect attitude where he's just like, yeah.
But I will say the drink menu here, while being interesting looking and containing some
I give them credit
decent looking drinks, I guess.
I give them credit for not going all trick dog.
Right.
And
but I don't give them credit for their prices, because
their prices are pretty high.
you're looking at over $12 a drink, pretty much across the board.
Here are some of the names of the drinks.
Here's what you're paying the $12 for.
47th Problem. I don't know what that is a reference to.
I got 47 problems and a bitch ain't one.
Birds of Babylon. There's one called Swamp Milk, which you tell me if this sounds appetizing or refreshing.
I'm gonna guess, based on your setup, that it's not.
Gin,
go ahead.
Gin, grape soda reduction, Swaze.
How do you make grape soda reduction? You just boil grape soda? Because that sounds really unappetizing. Go ahead.
It's from an old. It's from
An old Shasta keg we uncovered.
from an old a Baltimore recipe.
That's right.
Egg white and lemon all together. Grape soda, egg white, and lemon, and gin. Wow.
Like,
Not for me.
I'm not like a big gin drinker. Are you a big gin person?
If you recall, when you and I were living in LA, we made a deal where we were only going to drink.
Time Satan stopped over.
Yeah. We decided we were going to only drink one type of alcohol for a month. And that was
okay.
so I chose gin. I was like, yeah. And
You
then,
said, haha, I chose gin. The joke's on you. Wait a minute, what did I just do?
and in my mind, I was thinking yeah, I'm going to be Spencer Tracy or Cary Grant, and I'm just going to be super snazzy.
Like Graham Chapman or Peter O'Toole. Or,
Yeah, and I'm just yeah, this is going to be great. And then after I think 2 weeks of only drinking gin, I could not digest anything.
Oh my God.
And I had to quit. Not gonna.
Wow.
So I'm not a big gin drinker.
Yeah, you know what? I think when I was about, let's say, 17 or 18 years old, and the first apartment that I lived in by myself in in the Queen Anne neighborhood of Seattle.
Yep, up on the hill.
And I used to enjoy just sitting in my apartment like a winter and and trying out different alcohols. Like, yeah.
I do remember you telling me, like, yeah, some days I just like sit on the patio here, listen to Steely Dan, and just get blotto.
Wow, that guy should kill himself, whoever he is.
Yeah, at the time, I was like, this guy really knows what he's doing.
This guy's got life all figured out.
We could learn a lot from this this philosopher.
Exactly. I guess this guy has the charisma of a young Jim Jones.
What else is going on? I noticed something, and here's something that I've been like kind of railing against. I guess Simon Pegg came out and he was criticizing nerd culture for dumbing down the movies.
Okay.
And it's something that
I'm listening.
I've been like sort of like championing. I can't tell if I'm championing this because I actually think that like I don't like superhero movies.
Yeah.
And
I'm kind of with you on that.
yeah, but like I can't tell if I actually have a cogent argument against superhero movies or I'm just like the ogre character in Revenge of the Nerds, where I just think I'm so upset that Hollywood has like handed the keys over to like these fucking kids who live in their parents' basement.
It's strange though because like I feel like the real comic book nerds did sort of get passed over and you know people like Joss Whedon and like you know and J.J. Abrams, if you can tell them apart. Like
I think J.J. Abrams is great.
Yeah, no, I think both of them like do really good work, but at the same time, like I think that they have essentially handed the keys to every fucking franchise to one of the two of them. You know, and that's it's kind of crazy to have that much power resting in like essentially two sets of hands. Like it is bizarre to me.
I don't know, it's like when I saw Mad Max, and you saw Mad Max, right?
Yeah, we can talk about that.
One of the things I loved about that movie is the Mad Max character is a anti-hero.
Right.
And it just really drove the point home for me that like nobody does that anymore, and it's so fucking easy and it's so great. Like that like now like when you get all these like comic book movies, it's all like these heroic like douchebags. It's basically like a fucking like masturbatory fantasy that all these like fucking nerds have about like someday someone will fucking I was different too and then I saved the universe. How about that? It's like fuck that.
But if you subscribe to that theory, then you know the movie Ant-Man, who does that appeal to? Like short people? Oh yeah, I guess it does.
That movie looks terrible. I know everybody's like really like look like the previews make it look like shit.
Yeah.
It looks like my ass shitting.
Like that's one that I almost think has a better chance of being sneaky good. Like where everyone writes it off because because it's Paul Rudd and not Chris Hemsworth, but who knows? But like the guy that did it actually did a movie that I did like called Down with Love with Ewan McGregor and what's her nuts, the girl with the lemon face that was in Me, Myself, and Irene, and her.
Renee Zellweger.
Renee Zellweger, right?
Yes, the lemon face.
I gave you all the clues I could.
There was some other great Ewan McGregor like romantic comedy that has like one of my favorite lines in it, where he's walking this like attractive girl home, and like she says to him, well, do you want to come up for tea? And he goes, yeah. She goes, well, and he goes, yeah, but I don't drink tea. And she's like, it's okay, I don't have any. I know that's such a cheesy line, but I fucking love it.
And then she said, by the way, I'll totally swallow your jizz.
You and I watch totally different movies.
Yeah, that's right. The one I watched had Spewin' McGregor in it.
Spewin' McGregor, yeah, that's true. But like in the Mad Max movie, my favorite part, I'm not giving anything away, is like after like he initially meets up with the Charlize Theron character, and she's trying to save these young girls, and
I love that somebody described Charlize Theron, by the way, as being the queen of the looking at something in the distance shot. Like, because in that movie there must be like 100 different shots of her like sort of angrily looking in the distance.
Of all the things to complain about.
No,
Jesus
that wasn't
Christ.
complaining. No, go ahead.
Not you, that jackass writer. And he has this like fight with her, and he realizes what's going on. And then when he gets the upper hand, he jumps in the car and he's like, "I'm getting out of here."
Right.
That's like a total anti-hero sort of like move, because he doesn't like sit around and go, "Oh, for my own morality and ethics, I must protect these young, chaste women."
Right.
And like, he's like, "I'm trying to save my fucking skin." And it's the exact same thing that happened with Han Solo in Star Wars, where like after he got his reward, the princess is like, "So you're just gonna leave with your money?" And he's like, "Yeah."
Right.
He's like, "I got a bounty on my head. I'm fucking leaving." And then it makes it even that much more powerful when that person turns around and helps them. You know?
Right.
But
Right,
it's like
right.
it's such an easy thing to do, and like nobody does it because they're too busy making fucking Captain America Winter Soldier. Like the only moment in that movie where like the guy has any amount of depth is when he's like lamenting or that he's time traveled and everybody he knows is dead. You first off, you fucking time traveled. Okay? And second off, he was doing that lamenting in a museum that was dedicated to him. Fuck you. Fuck you, Captain America. And then the rest of the movie, he just like runs around and beats people up. It's basically the people who write these movies and the people who read these comics are people who get sand kicked in their face. But then they have these like, they create these characters about like, you know, how they're just like unbeatable. It's like, yeah, you keep fucking that chicken.
It's great.
How come that phrase never came back into like prominence?
Keep fucking that chicken.
Yeah, but didn't like somebody in like it was like a news anchor that said it on the air.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. That's great.
Somebody was like giving him a hard time, and he was, "Yeah, you keep fucking that chicken."
That's fantastic.
Yeah, I'm just gonna keep saying that forever.
Well, you know what? So
what else? What do you got?
last episode, I believe we said "Go Warriors," and they went. So
They did.
You know, like
they took our advice.
Exactly. They said, "You know what? We will go. Well, first we're going to lose in Houston."
I think I remember seeing a shot of Steph Curry turning off his iPod, and it said SFBarkast, and he took his earbuds out, and he went and won the game.
Right. He said, "Look," he said, "Hey, son, while you're learning Drake, also make a note to thank the guys from SFBarkast."
So the NBA Finals is set,
It is.
and it is Cleveland and Golden State. And I
right.
guess Vegas has
knew?
installed the Warriors as the favorite in this.
That's not surprising.
I thought maybe they would go with I bet like the money will make it swing. It'll make it more even.
Right. I feel like, well, I mean, I feel like there's a few things at work. Obviously, the East is awful. I mean, like it's just like compared to like what the road that the Warriors had to take.
Yeah.
I think like the road that the Cleveland had to take was, admittedly much easier. That said, like they did a great job. Like and
It was like Fury Road.
yeah,
The road they had to take.
well, and LeBron James has been playing out of his fucking mind. He's like,
Yeah.
he's really good. But I think that when push comes to shove, there's too many like Warriors players that are like peaking the right. I mean, like fucking Harrison Barnes and like
Harrison Barnes, who was
Festivus Ezekiel or whatever. It's like
Ezekiel.
is also like having a great series. Like
Harrison Barnes like basically had like a bad playoffs, and then like he's kind of like come alive recently. So like the
but
Warriors
they have, like,
needed
so
any
many
help.
players like that can kind of like either be good or bad. That like you wind up with like 8 or 9 players that are all playing at top level. Like,
Although, did
because
you watch?
you can just bench the guys that aren't playing well.
Did you watch the game last night?
Yeah.
Okay, so the last 2 Warrior games, one, Steph Curry gets
Oh, yeah.
helicoptered and like lands on his arm. He's shooting
the
arm.
Rockets, I don't think there's too many people who would disagree with this. Like the Rockets played pretty fucking dirty. They were definitely like kind of like headhunting towards the when they're running out of time.
I think that's what a lot of like teams like they see the Warriors, and the Warriors are a finesse team. They run, and they're a jump shooting team, and they think like, yeah, if we slow the game up and bang them a little harder,
Right.
we've got a shot. Like these guys, if we're gonna get into a shooting, like a scoring game, it's like we're gonna lose.
Right.
So I think that's what they tried to do. That's what Memphis tried to do.
It's like fucking, Trevor Ariza, like, that was like some, like, Muay Thai fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
Like to
was
Klay Thompson's head.
Some crazy Mao out there.
Shout out to Jim Cotter, Muay Thai. I don't know if that's a type of fighting he does or not.
Oh, really?
But I know that he could probably kick my ass.
Probably.
If.
But but in the last two games, like 2 games ago, Steph Curry gets low bridge and helicoptered.
Yeah.
And he lands on his arm, his shooting arm, and then he hits his head.
And his neck and his back and that
was
that fall had like career ender written all over it. Like, I was surprised that like he wasn't just a fucking vegetable.
And yeah, no joke. It's like I can't believe that like he came out of it like totally fine. He played the next night. He had like a sleeve on.
Rubber kid. Like it's just like.
And then like in the last game, fucking like Klay Thompson gets kneed in the head, and next thing you know, he's walking around and he's bleeding out of his ear. Like, isn't like that in the movies like the thing that happens before either the alien comes out of the fucking stomach or the person just dies? It's like bleeding out of the ear and nose.
His head explodes like in Scanners.
Jesus Christ. And I guess like he had to go get like stitches in his ear.
Ah.
Gross.
Yeah, totally. Like I've had my like ear like sort of forcefully washed. Like which you would think that you go to like a doctor's office, they're gonna have some like cool technology or something like that to do things, but it's like it's a fucking squeegee bottle, like fucking squirt bottle with a big tube in it that they just ram in your head and then fucking spray it like they're watering the the yard. It's like, and it's just and it's the loudest like spray bottle you can imagine because it's inside your head.
Don't they have these things now where it's like it's basically this suction thing? Like you're not supposed to. You're not.
Oh,
like,
I've seen those, like the ones on TV that are like supposed to be like a light vacuum or something. But
yeah, and you vacuum.
But it's like they don't work because it's a light vacuum. Like it's like.
Also, like, what if it works too good and you fucking like give yourself like a home lobotomy?
Yeah, right. You suck your frontal lobe out. Like
put it back in. Put it back in.
I forgot where South America is.
By the way, when people like do that thing where it's like, well, I think I'm going to have a stroke. I think I smell toast. Like, how did fucking toast become, like, the thing that...
What do you do if you work in, like, a breakfast diner? Like,
what if you're a caveman and someone goes, what's toast?
What's the deal with toast?
Oog. What's the deal with toast? I don't know. We haven't invented it yet.
Robert Loggia for toast.
Robert Loggia. It's going to be my favorite. I was going to say, you want to take a break?
Yeah.
Oh, wait.
Actually, or do we have any other sports to discuss? Like, I guess the...
Wait, one last thing I want to say about movies is I'm really interested... This is not going to be a winner here like in this argument. But because I hate the comic book nerd so much, I'm wondering if the Entourage movie will actually do well at the box office. As in, like, there's no winners here. Whether it's
exactly.
like fucking like Age of Ultron or these fucking like LA douchebags. But I wonder if people are going to get fed up and just be like, look, you know what?
I'm going to go see that Cameron Crowe movie.
We're sick of these fucking nerds like running stuff. Like, we let these nerds like run around with impunity. People get like tattoos of like the Green Lantern like symbol. Like they're proud to be a fucking loser.
Like, that said, make sure and go see the Star Wars movie when it comes out because it's going to be awesome.
Totally. Sci-fi is a different thing, by the way. The thing is, like,
people with the Battlestar Galactica logo, those people are winners.
I think sci-fi, like, especially like sci-fi that tries to be kind of hard sci-fi, whether it's like Blade Runner or Prometheus or like that stuff, I really dig. I mean, like Star Wars, not so much.
Right.
But like whatever. Like I know if you're a sci-fi fan like I am, you know that 85% of whatever you watch is shit.
I actually learned a cool like sort of factoid from like the Talking Bird cast Star Wars podcast that's going on.
Oh, is that Roberts?
Yeah.
Nice.
And so like he was saying that the like in when they were making Blade Runner, there was a writer's strike going on, and so they basically had to like shut everything down for like 9 months. But like the special effects house didn't have to like shut down, and so like that's why like the special effects are so incredible in Blade Runner, because they had like a 9-month like window to work on it, like where they wouldn't have had any time at all. Like,
That's true.
And they're just like, hey, fuck it, we'll just let's go the extra mile and make the cars fly.
Hey, I got a crazy idea. Let's do a good job this time.
Hey, how about we not half-ass it?
Let's not phone this one in.
That's right. Let's not fucking do what we did with the Star Trek movies and fucking phone it in.
They just announced who the director is in the new Blade Runner, and I can't remember who it is. So,
Wait,
this story goes
I didn't
nowhere.
even know there was going to be a new Blade Runner. That's
It's
how out
going
of
to
it I am.
star Ryan Gosling. Excuse
Oh,
me?
God, what?
Yes, I'm sorry, Andrew. I'm not going to be negative about that because
Well, I mean,
I have to stay. If I give up on Blade Runner, like I might as well fucking.
But you're not giving up on Blade Runner. You're giving up on the new Blade Runner. Like with,
Got to give it a shot, dude.
you know what? If it's got Ryan Gosling, I'll give it a shot. If it was like Ryan Reynolds.
Why do you not like Ryan Gosling? Like Ryan Reynolds.
No, I like
Ryan
Ryan
Reynolds is a
Gosling.
fucking abortion who should be killed. I don't know. When I see a Ryan Reynolds movie, the first thing I think is like, is there a shortage of fucking actors? This guy
There
sucks.
must be. Right. Christ's sakes.
Oh, by the way, I was gonna, because I've been like just, spouting out so much bile.
Vitriol.
I wanted to say something positive, but I realized I already said something positive. I like the bartender, so shut up.
I guess my something positive will be I can't think of anything.
How about if we make Sling Blade Runner with a
That's the worst idea I've ever heard in my life.
with a retarded replicant?
Go see go see Mad Max Fury Road, even though my wife hated it, but like I thought it was great. I didn't necessarily care for the ending. I thought it seemed I guess spoiler alert for the next 10 seconds. Like it seemed like the society they went back to, like that, very readily accepted them as their new leaders.
Yeah,
it was just kind of like, oh, they showed back up. There are king and queen. Like, okay.
Was it George Miller who directed that?
Yeah.
It just seems so weird. That guy's like 70 years old,
Right.
and he's like, okay, now flip the motorcycle over the moving truck. It's like, oh, great.
All right,
awesome.
now take the silver spray paint and fucking spray it right in your mouth like you're huffing.
Yeah. I'm not a big Zoe Kravitz fan. I thought she was kind of shitty.
Yeah.
But everything else I liked about it. The ending was pretty bad. Let's see, I saw a Soderbergh film called Side Effects, and that was a very disappointing movie.
Really?
It was okay up until like the ending, and then it became like a Hitchcock film.
Oh, okay.
And that was also kind of interesting, but it's like ultimately, like, I was thinking about it today. I was like, yeah, I wasn't on board with that.
Right. I saw the Chris Rock movie Top 5.
Oh yeah.
And I really didn't like it at all. Like it was very much a movie where like you can tell that someone's really out of touch. Like when they made it, like where like all of the problems are sort of rich celebrity problems, and it's like, can you believe I had to like go through this stuff? And it's like, I can't. I have no idea what it's like to be Chris Rock at all.
Who is the comic that says that he lost a lot of like faith in like the stand-up like the entire art of stand-up because like people's premises were wrong right from the start?
Right.
Where they're like, I walk into a cookie store and I see like sugarless cookies. Who's that for?
Right.
What's that about? And they're like, it's for diabetics, you asshole. Yeah, I walk into a hospital. I see insulin. What's that all about? Who's that for?
Vintage Andy Kindler.
Is it Kindler?
Yeah, I think so. Like
Nice.
it can be Dr. Katz Kindler.
All right, you want to take a break?
Sure, why
We'll come
not?
back and we'll talk about FIFA.
Yeah, and I've got another movie or so, but like I'll take care of it in the plugs.
Yeah. Okay.
That's what she said.
Is this another Spew and McGregor film? All right, this is SFBarkast. We're at OddJob in the Civic Center. We'll be back.
I drive 6 wheels, wasting away my day. I drive my guitar to play my blues away. And when I get home, you know what I need. And break out the bong and break out the weed. I'm making my way, baby, coming to you. Better be ready, cause you know what I do. I got the truck driving the truck driving blue. You gotta take 'em from me, babe. There ain't another way I can see. Hey, you gotta get rid of these love.
All right, and we are back at OddJob.
At the in the TL.
They're playing some cool, like, chill-out music now, which is, like, exactly
Yeah.
what you need. Although,
Looks like some coders spinning the hits on their time off.
yeah, you know, like, after a fucking long day of coding, you want to
Yeah.
go down to the bar,
Go play some Al Green.
get a fucking $14 cocktail, listen to some Al Green, and
That's
just,
right.
like, you know, think about the tendinitis you're going to have in your hands when you're older.
But thinking of all the Cambodian prostitutes that'll help massage away that pain.
Like, looking forward to that Thailand trip where I'll pay a little extra money to deflower a boy.
And then get to shoot him dead.
Yeah, America.
That was actually something that I heard about once. This was not that long ago, like maybe 10 years ago, and somebody was talking about going to Cambodia and saying that that it was just, it was really terrifying to travel there because you always had to keep enough money on you for bribes, but
Yeah.
not so much that they take it all from you. And so and saying that there were these crazy fucking rich people that would come there and they would pay a premium for a virgin and then B to be able to kill them afterwards. And
Wow.
and it was just really messed up. But apparently Cambodia now is pretty nice. So
Who
good
would
on
have
you,
thought
Cambodia.
they were doing so well under Pol Pot?
Yeah, exactly. What's the Onion headline? Cambodia switches to skull-based economy.
Killing Fields is a great movie.
It is. Academy Award winner.
If you were in a foreign country, so if you're in a foreign country and you have a bunch of cash in order to get out to bribe people,
Sure.
and I am the person you need to bribe,
Right.
and I said, okay, you have to give me some money, and I noticed you have a lot more, what is going to stop me from saying, no, you need to give me all the money? What are you going to say? You're like, but I need more. I need to keep some in case I get bribed again.
I think I think the lesson is that you have to keep small amounts in a whole bunch of different places so that you can be hey, this is all my money.
Hey, you didn't check my
And
anus.
then 5 minutes later when the same guy stops you, you'd be like, oh, I found some more.
You told me this was all the money you had. Oh, yeah, I forgot.
Well, you told me you wouldn't stop me again.
You told me we were
It's a
done.
complicated game we're playing.
Is this a cultural thing? Because I'm not getting it.
Well, this wasn't in the
In the Let's Go tour book.
Exactly. Let's go kill a virgin in Cambodia.
Let's Go sex tour book.
Let's go human sex. Fantastic.
All right. So, Andrew, we're just going to touch upon this briefly. You watch more soccer than I do. And there was this huge FIFA, arrests of people.
Yeah, kind of. It seems it almost seems like a shakedown. They're arresting all these other officials, kind of hoping to flush out Sepp Blatter or whatever.
Okay, now
president.
I know that I don't care, but you watch soccer. Do you care?
I only care in that if they find out that they're totally corrupt and they strip Russia and Qatar of their World Cups, then they'll have to go somewhere else. So maybe the U.S. will get a World Cup and we can go watch cool, fun games
Isn't
here.
this also one of those things where it's you didn't get the World Cup, so therefore
Sour grapes.
we're gonna arrest you?
that's part of it. Sure.
I mean, I know there was bribes, although
I think,
anybody who thinks that any of that bullshit happens in a vacuum and
Right.
oh my, everybody was saying that when they actually arrested this dude in Geneva or wherever,
yeah.
he did his best impression of like the guy in Casablanca when they were busting his club. They're like, "What? Gambling in my club?
Right.
Who knows?" And like the guy comes over with like, "Oh, here's your gambling chips." He's like, "Get out of here."
Like, delicious potato chips.
Yeah. So it's like it's like, "Oh my God, bribes in FIFA? Oh,
Right.
so I'm a god. I am a
And
god."
that's the thing, that if FIFA is guilty of anything, it's like not even having any tact at all. Like, because like if you're gonna like take bribes and everything, don't give the World Cup to like the most corrupt person in the world, Vladimir Putin, and then also give it to like the highest bidding like Arab country that can't possibly put the event on because it's 150 degrees there all the goddamn time.
And they're like, "Well, you don't have any stadiums. Don't worry. We're going to like have some slave trade.
Right.
And people are going to die building these fucking stadiums. And then when we're done, we're going to fucking trash them. You know why? Because we're rich."
Well, that's, I mean, like I was pretty amazed that the Sochi Russia Olympics like went off as flawlessly as they did, even though there was the whole like sort of like ridiculous hotel toilet gate or whatever you want to call it. But like but I fully expected like at least 2 or 3 of those stadiums to like just crumble to the ground because
It's
like,
so close to
they're made out
Georgia.
of like dried fish and old vodka bottles or something.
Those two like Boston Marathon bombers wish they could have got to Sochi.
I actually watched. Did you watch that Nova last week? That was sort of like all about the Boston bombings. That was fun, right?
Yeah, why not? I like to watch something about like people killing people before I go to bed.
Speaking of fun things, bad Yelp reviews.
Bad
Wanna do
Yelp
some
reviews.
of those?
Let's do some of those. Well, you want to go first?
Sure, I'll go first.
Bad Yelp reviews of OddJob.
Of OddJob and action
3, 2, 1. Andrew.
and Manoj. All right. So Brian B. of San Francisco writes, "My high hopes were dashed when, after barely 10 minutes of walking in, what promised to be a new, chill, fun space to hang with my peeps." I should mention, by the way, that this guy is very white.
My peeps.
Or at least according to his
I was
profile
bringing my
picture.
crew to the.
My boys with 2 Z's. So his new chill fun space to hang out with my peeps in Soma went south fast. I'm going to do the rest of this as what's it like, Chosen. It's like it went south fast. Staff had a stick up their ass, and the manager and bouncer were legit fronting some Vegas bullshit with some no joke attitude and fuck off vibe.
Wait a minute, did he say like Vegas bullshit?
He said they were legit fronting some Vegas bullshit, which I guess is attitude.
No idea what he's talking about.
Anyway, with no joke attitude and fuck off vibe. I'm not someone to boycott shit, but this was not even funny, just lame and annoying.
I like my I'd like to go down to the club.
So Brian B, you're kind of a fool.
Whatever.
You're a comical figure.
See, that's one of those like Yelp reviews where that I am amazed that somebody would, in the Constitution we have a provision against self-incrimination. I'm amazed that somebody would like actually put like not pen to paper but like finger to keyboard to make themselves look like such a fucking asshole. All right, so mine comes from Alexis R.
Alexis R.
She writes, "We walked in through the Mission Street entrance, and then in parentheses, that we were informed later was not the entrance, despite the door being open. Apparently, they'd rather you enter on the piss-laden alley. This is Soma. Come on." By the way, the alley...
Yeah, we should call it piss laden.
She's right that like you're supposed to enter on the alley on the right-hand side of this place, but it's not piss-laden, but it is called Piss Alley. So it's weird. It's kind of a weird thing like that. She writes
a really unfortunate nickname if there is no piss.
Yeah, exactly. It's very clean, actually.
And it's like, hey, I bought a condo on Piss Alley. It's surprisingly devoid of piss.
She writes, I have been curious about the spot because there is no signage, and yet could tell there were people inside upon multiple passings. So she didn't see a sign, but she saw there was people inside having a good time. So she writes, when I noticed the door open as we were strolling by, I decided to duck in for a spot. Whatever. She makes no sense. Normally, I would have taken at least the time to have a drinky poo and survey the joint. Yeah, let's just say that within seconds I felt completely alienated by the bartender, beyond arrogant. He made us feel completely unwelcome. So out the wrong door we went. So
Gosh.
the thing that really bothers me about this review, aside from everything,
Drinky poo.
drinky poo, is that one person clicked their three little things at the bottom,
likes
like
or whatever, yeah.
useful, funny, or cool. And somebody clicked, I mean, I'm sure she clicked the funny thing for herself and the cool thing, but it's like, if anybody who was not the person who wrote this shitty review clicked those, then like there's two jackasses in the world.
Well, maybe it's their parents. Maybe they're trying to be supportive.
Honey, we read on Yelp what happened to you.
Oh, you're a good writer.
Oh, yeah. Do you ever think about doing Yelp reviews professionally? Daddy will pay for it. How's that cupcake shop we're paying for going?
So, do you have anything to plug this week?
I don't.
Nothing to
Oh,
plug?
you know what? Yes, I do have one thing to plug. I am going to Project Pabst in Portland, Oregon. I'm taking the fucking show on the road. Taking the road on the show. And it is going to be in Portland, Oregon on July, I believe, 17th through the 19th. So
Cool.
I will be up in Portland spreading my cheer to an otherwise dreary city. How do you like that?
Excellent. Cool. And there's a upcoming trivia night at the Right Spot too, isn't it?
Yes, let's not forget about that.
Let's
Trivia
not.
night. I've been going to a lot of trivia nights
Ooh, in
just to
preparation.
just to amp myself up,
Yeah. Get yourself in the trivia mindset.
get it all together.
That's right.
And yeah, like come on out. I believe it's like 7:15 at the Right Spot on Wednesday night. I know Jim Cotter will be there, so
This
like
is Wednesday, the
June
3rd.
3rd.
There we go. First Wednesday of every month, right?
Hello.
Supposedly.
What's that? Yes, yes.
Right. Yes.
My
wife.
Yes, my wife.
My wife. All right. I have one thing to plug. Actually, two things to plug. Talking Broadcast as always. And then the other one is a documentary that I saw called A Beautiful Noise. And it came out like I think last year. And it's basically about the weird thing is that it's what we would probably call shoegaze music. But the word shoegaze is never mentioned in the movie. So I don't know if that's offensive to that movement or what. Or they didn't have the rights to it, or who knows. But like, so basically, like the bands that are sort of encompassed in this are Cocteau Twins.
Oh yeah.
My Bloody Valentine. Jesus and Mary Chain.
This sounds great, actually.
Lush. And like the great thing about it is that it sort of introduced me to bands that I either had heard the name of but never really listened to, or like didn't really know were as big as they were. And like
cool.
the bands that qualify for that, I think, are Swerve Driver.
I saw them in concert.
Nice. I actually saw Jesus and Mary Chain open for Oingo Boingo.
I saw them open for Public Image Limited
Ooh, that's a
at the
fantastic. That's a much
Palladium.
better show.
At the Palladium on 14th Street in New York.
And some of the other bands that are Chapter House, Ride, Slow Dive, Pale Saints. Like it was like a whole shitload of them. But like it was really good. It was really well done, and like and it's funny because. I think right around the time like where we were seeing like Jesus and Mary Chain open for Oingo Boingo or something like that. Like that was sort of like as it was like sort of like plowing into the mountain where like these bands that were huge are all of a sudden like opening up for like the Goo Goo Dolls or something like that. And like even like one of the guys from the Cocteau Twins was like, yeah, we were like opening up for the Goo Goo Dolls, and we're like, what the fuck are we doing? Like this is stupid.
Which one of you asshole bands drank the Gin Blossoms beer?
Exactly. Like that meat platter belonged to Ugly Kid Joe. Which one of you took it?
You know what? I want to watch this documentary. I haven't watched it yet, but it is a documentary called 12 O'Clock Boys, and it's about kids in Baltimore. Like
okay.
this is like they made this movie like over a year ago. And it's about them like riding their dirt bikes and motorcycles through the city, and how like the city was trying to crack down on stopping them like from riding. And it was one of those things where there was a girl I worked with that I had a crush on, and she was like, "Oh my God, my friend has this Kickstarter for this movie he's making in Baltimore. Do you want to give money for it?" And I'm like, "I'll give money for it, for you, yeah, sure." Like, what is like the dumbest thing you've ever done to like impress a girl? Like,
Ooh boy.
that's, I mean, like,
Let me get back to you on that with
That's
a
an
list of 50 things.
that's an incredible like question because like every guy has done like a bunch of dumb shit.
Right.
I think I pretended to like Kid Rock for a summer.
Well, there was the 10 years I spent as a Scientologist.
Right, exactly.
It's like, well, I don't
So,
know,
let me ask you this.
Jonestown.
Let me ask you this: does El Ron want us to fuck? Because
Like-
if the answer is no, I'm leaving.
Do you think there were people in Jonestown that were like I just came here to try to fuck this girl and now I'm dead?
Yeah, you know who those people were? Those are the people who were like when the congressman went down there to check on it. They were the people who went to him and said, "Hey, you know what? Get me. I'm on the fucking plane.
Right.
I'm out of here. I only came here to like try to get with that girl over there."
Look, you know how great like crazy pussy is, right? Right, coppers.
It's like that great line from After Hours where he goes, "You know what? I just wanted to go out and meet a nice girl, and now I gotta die for it." What is your final analysis, Phil Giuano, Andrew, of this bar?
Good question. You know what? Like, I'm sort of in the same boat as you. Like, I sort of walked in with like a wanting to judge it negatively, and like I'm walking out like thinking it's actually kind of cool.
Well, you did do that. You walked
Right.
in, you judged it negatively, and then
Right.
like you're kind of like it won you over.
It's kind of like that, yeah. In fact, it's
Very,
exactly
very
like
prophetic.
that. Oh, well, thank you. And you?
Yeah, I actually like it. I think the bar with the assembly line thing it's visually nice.
Yeah.
But just doesn't make any fucking sense to me. 'Cause, like, for one summer, I worked on an assembly line in a fucking factory.
Right.
And it is not an appealing thing. So it's like the only people like aesthetically it looks nice.
Right.
But anybody who like actually did work like that, where like
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
basically like, all the entire summer I'm putting like things into boxes and putting
Right.
like packing peanuts in it, and for an entire summer, it's the fucking worst. So like only people who really like that are gonna be rich assholes who never had to do that work.
True. Yeah. I would agree with that.
It's like, yeah, if you were a carpenter and you came in here and see them how they arranged all the carpentry tools to make it look artistic, you'd be like, fuck these assholes. They're making fun of what I do.
Right.
But
It's more than just stupid antiques, you idiot.
exactly. You tried building a fucking shoebox. But like, no, I do like this bar. I have to admit, it's all coming back to me now. I like the atmosphere of it,
Yeah.
and like I said, the bald bartender with the glasses is a really nice dude.
Right.
And he's got a great attitude, and yeah, I mean, it's like it totally like won me over. I would come back here.
Yeah.
Although
like,
the only thing that would
like I say,
prevent
it's pricey.
Yeah, the
it's
pricey,
A good,
yeah.
I would say it's like a good date or like hang out with your wife kind of place, like before dinner or something like that. It'd be
it's a
cool.
good Tinder date.
It's like sort of dark. You can like wear a fake mustache.
It's a good first Tinder date where then you the girl thinks, oh, you come to these like nice places all the time. You're like, yeah, baby, I do. You know what other nice place I go to? My place.
like God, it's so dark in here. Are you sure you're Mark Ruffalo?
You don't look like your Grindr picture. Somebody told me I look like Mark Ruffalo the other day.
Really?
I'm like, what?
That's a compliment, right?
Yeah, but I don't
The
look
handsome
like
dude.
Mark Ruffalo.
I mean, you don't look like Chris Hemsworth either.
Well, they didn't say Chris Hemsworth. Somebody once told me that I look like George Clooney, but George Clooney in the movie Syriana.
Ooh.
So yeah,
A very specific George Clooney.
You know the George Clooney.
the ugliest George Clooney.
Yeah, the one where he put on 40 pounds, and like they have that scene where he's getting tortured, and they're pulling the fucking fingernails out of his fingers. And he's like, yeah, you look like that dude.
You look like George Clooney. No, Facts of Life George Clooney when he had a gigantic mullet.
Yeah, the one like you look like junkie George Clooney.
You look like dead George Clooney, like for decomposing George Clooney.
Wasn't there some comic who said that, like, if somebody does that to you, and, like, it's going to sound like I stole that joke, but, like, somebody said to him, like, oh, yeah, you look like Tom Hanks in the movie Philadelphia. Yeah, you know, AIDS-ridden Tom Hanks.
That's right. Fantastic.
All right, well, I think that's it. I think we're wrapped up.
Yeah.
You know, as the regular listeners know, when someone says AIDS-ridden Tom Hanks, it's time to go.
Well, and you know what? Like, props to this bar for winning us over, even
Yeah.
though it didn't have any James Bond, connection at all.
Get on that, people.
That's right. They haven't put an Aston Martin in the middle of this place.
No joke. And I guess, like, go Warriors, but I think we'll have another podcast because it's like
Probably,
a week
yeah.
before the final start.
Which is great because, like, the Warriors need the time to recover from the jiu-jitsu nightmare that was the Houston Rockets and
Yeah, maybe in a
Kevin
week.
McHale's dirty-ass team.
Yeah, maybe in a week, Klay Thompson's ear will stop bleeding.
That's right.
Maybe.
Like,
All right.
it's
So
going to
until
wind up like one of the guys in Star Trek 2 with the maybe he's got like one of those fucking like mud bugs in his head. Like
Mud bug?
It's like
I know
remember,
what
like,
you're
Khan
talking
put,
about.
like
I've seen the fucking thing.
fucking beetle or shrimp or something.
I know
in
he
his
put
head.
it in Paul Winfield's head, and like he couldn't take it anymore, and he had to shoot himself.
Paul Winfield.
Are you trying to like drop some Paul Winfield knowledge while people aren't listening? Okay, so if anyone doesn't know what we're talking about, watch Star Trek II: Wrath of Khan, and not the
Available at a library near you.
consult your local library. All right, until next time, I am Jeff Cleary.
Oh, I'm Andrew Louder.
Yeah, exactly.
Khan.
Jump in anytime, Andrew. And we'll see you next time. This is SF Barkast.